All right, welcome back to Jedi Jive, everyone. My name is Mike. Joining me again is my sister Jenny.
Hey, guys.
We're going to do some more WandaVision. I don't even really know where to begin because...
Because last week was so much.
Yeah, the whole Evan Peters Quicksilver reveal at the end of last week's episode was kind of crazy because it has obviously not just huge implications for this show, but also for the MCU moving forward.
Yeah, it blew the doors wide open.
Yeah.
The doors of possibility. So.
One of the things that we had mentioned was about how Paul Bettany had mentioned that there was an actor that he had always wanted to work with, and we had theorized that it could be like Patrick Stewart.
I kind of think it might be Fassbender, but it
now,
could be anybody. It could be literally anybody.
Now that Evan Peters has shown up, quite literally any other character from Fox or from any other Marvel property could show up. Like you know.
It could be anybody from the X-Men, anybody from...
Fantastic Four, even.
Right.
Which is actually another funny little meta thing, because Chris Evans, Captain America, played Human Torch in the Fox Fantastic Four. There was actually one thing I wanted to mention, and that, because it got cut out of our last reaction. Sometimes, we can't show the whole episode. I have to chop the hell out of this thing when I'm editing it, so a lot of things get left out. One of the things that didn't end up in the reaction was the scene where Monica Rambeau wakes up from having been blown out of the bubble, and the doctors are like, oh, like your x-rays just made this blank thing, and your blood tests weren't any good, we need to do another one.
Oh, I hadn't even remembered that. So yeah, we didn't even talk about that.
I'm pretty sure Monica Rambeau is her own superhero. She may have actually acquired some kind of superpower going through that barrier, because they mentioned something about they needed a vehicle that had, she named all these, molecular properties or whatever. She may share those molecular properties, and she might actually end up being the only person that can end up going through the bubble because of those things.
I mean, in terms of, people that we are theorizing might be entering this universe, keep in mind, not only could it be anybody from the MCU, anybody from the previous Fox X-Men films, it could also be somebody completely new that we haven't met yet. If you were going to bring Mephisto in, for instance, you'd have to have, a really cool actor to play such a significant part.
Oh, my goodness.
So, I mean, there are literally infinite possibilities about who might be entering this universe, this world, this reality right now. So it's really exciting. Let's watch.
Yeah, let's jump right into it.
Oh, my God.
It's definitely 90s.
Why would I be scared? You're secretly afraid he's a vampire.
Oh my goodness, there's the costume.
He's what you call a man-child.
Oh dear.
This is also exactly his look.
Let me guess. A booger.
Yes. You have fun tonight, darling?
What? No, that's not what you're supposed to. Well, you didn't tell me you had plans.
Well, I am telling you now.
Mom and Dad have been not fighting, just, different.
Big guy is a conflict. Twins need a father figure for the night. Don't sweat it, sis. I got the XY chromosome.
What could go wrong?
Problem solved.
The kids are breaking the fourth wall a lot in this episode. That's also meta.
It is, but it's also a 90s thing. It is that
100%,
Malcolm in the Middle thing.
Yeah.
Don't do that! You don't even have a costume.
So they're all dressed in their original outfits.
Costumes, yeah. There we go. Back to sword.
There's her firewall. We're balancing the inside and the outside storylines now.
Hey, there he is. The guy who almost got murdered by his own murder squad.
You work for me?
I actually don't know.
She's with me.
And which one of you is the sassy best friend?
Ooh.
You take her out, this whole nightmare ends.
We actually have no idea what will happen in there or out here if Wanda dies.
Captain Rambeau, you have become an impediment to this mission, constantly advocating on behalf of superpowered individuals. Yes, I know your history with Carol Danvers. You have no idea what it was like.
Don't use the last 5 years as an excuse to be a coward.
Maybe it's a good thing you weren't here when your mother died.
Ooh.
Clearly, you don't have the stomach for this job.
All right, this guy needs to die.
Get her off my base. Now. Everybody in.
Yeah,
Oh, woo. Get it. Yeah, man.
It's not a competition, Tommy. It is if you're a winner. Tommy.
Unleash hell, demon spawn!
What was the name of that kid who was always trying to steal your boots. You know, he was the one.
She's making that up, right?
Yeah, just testing to see if he's
Yeah,
real.
well, exactly.
No, I'm not.
If I found Shangri-La, I wouldn't want to be reminded of the past either. How about you let Uncle P help you maximize your candy acquisition, huh?
I just noticed there's children now, where there weren't before. Or wait, are there children?
Yep, there's little kids around.
He's not on duty.
Oh, I thought
Is there something I can do for you, Wanda?
Okay, so he's doing something secretive.
it's fine. Never mind.
He lied to her. That's not weird and creepy at all.
She's crying. Oh.
Ooh. What's going on
She
over
was
here?
on a loop, like she was repeating the same action. over and
Yeah.
over. Yeah.
I'm so hungry, I'd eat anything.
It's another commercial, huh? I really want a Yo Magic now, and it doesn't even exist. Oh my god.
Yo Magic, the snack for survivors.
The Incredibles, The Parent Trap.
What happened to your accent?
What happened to yours? Details are fuzzy, man.
You got super speed.
I do?
Yeah.
So Tommy's got super speed. That means Billy's got Wanda powers.
Yeah.
Remember,
Don't go past Ellis Avenue.
Notice how the films are The Incredibles, a superhero movie, and The Parent Trap, which is about twins.
Who is that?
Wanda's brother came to town.
You brought the wrong face. Hayward figured out a way to look through the boundary.
And you didn't share it with the group.
Is this Wanda right here?
No. The program is tracking the decay signature of vibranium.
Vision.
His
Why
body.
is Hayward tracking Vision?
Who wants to make him into a weapon?
They want to recover him so that they can continue doing whatever they were doing before she stole his body.
These people near the edge of town, they're barely moving. Are they alive?
Barely moving. They're like props.
Are those your children? Are you waiting for something? Agnes? What are you doing here?
Took a wrong turn. Got lost.
In the town you grew up in? All right.
You're one of the Avengers. You're Vision. Are you here to help us?
I do want to help. But what's an Avenger?
Why don't you know?
He said he didn't remember his life before Westview.
Am I dead?
No, no. Why would you think that?
Because you are.
Because I'm not.
Dead. Dead.
It is my intention to reach those outside of Westview and make sense of our situation.
No one leaves. Wanda won't even let us think about it. All is lost.
Agnes, please, calm down.
Classic
Agnes.
evil witch cackle right here.
Shut up.
Okie dokie, neighbor.
Oh, she said don't go past Ellis Ave. Yeah.
Oh, right.
Yep.
My way back into the Hex will be here in an hour. Just gotta meet my guy over the ridge.
This is her,
Her guy.
aerospace engineer.
It could be Reed Richards.
A lot of people have speculated.
Eon Grafud? Maybe.
Hayward has your blood work.
Okay.
This is what I was talking about.
You've gone through the boundary twice already, Monica. The energy inside has rewritten your cells on
Yeah.
a molecular level twice. It's changing you.
Which is exactly like
This is-
Fantastic Four.
Yep. Yep.
Cells metastasizing, cells in remission.
Yeah, her mom had cancer.
And I won't stop until I help her.
It's interesting because she just made the connection to cancer changing your cells. But in this world, it might also give you superpowers if your cells change enough times.
Damn it if Westview, New Jersey isn't charming as hell.
Really is nice, right?
I think Mom and Dad would have loved it.
Yeah.
Which mom and which dad?
Where were you hiding all these kids up till now?
What?
I assume they were all just sleeping peacefully in their beds. Families and couples stay together. Most personalities aren't far from what's underneath.
I think it's wrong.
Are you kidding? I'm impressed. It's a pretty big leap from giving people nightmares and shooting red wiggly woos out your hands. How'd you even do all this?
I don't know how I did it.
Vision. What's he doing?
He's just going right through.
Yeah.
Oh, it's pulling on him.
He really does want out, doesn't he?
Stop! It's coming apart!
Billy see. Oh, okay.
Okay.
Billy's gonna do some Wanda stuff.
Whoa, Billy! Your dad, he's in trouble.
Oof. Oh.
Where is he?
It's not like your dead husband could die twice.
I need you to focus.
Soldiers. They think he's dying.
So she just blasted her brother. She'll do some bad shit right now. Oh boy. Scarlet Witch time, baby. Ooh.
In all her glory.
Something's happening.
It's moving. Go, 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 go,
Oh, it's
go.
getting
It's
bigger.
moving. It's expanding. That's right, you better run.
They're all gonna become part of it now. It's alright, Darcy. You'll get superpowers. Okay, he's
Okay.
fine.
Okay. Saved in the nick of time.
Oh, cool.
Like a hot air balloon. This is like Twister, but like the Magic Witch version.
Anyone hear my voice? Anyone read me?
Ah, of course, he's the one person to
Who cares,
escape.
right?
It's still going.
Seriously, that's it?
I know.
Come on.
I know. Wow. All right,
Okay.
dude. That was pretty consequential.
Yeah. So, I mean, one of the things that really amped up this episode was people just speaking truth to her face.
Mm-hmm.
People within her own illusion speaking truth to her face.
Mm-hmm.
We saw hints of it last week
Yep.
with Catherine Hahn and the Postman, and then,
Yep.
of course, the, like, apex of that was Vision straight up calling her out and being like, I know you've got everyone under your spell, and then, like, that fight that almost happened between them. We saw that last week, and then this week, Evan Peters was like, ha, jokes, 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 I'm here for it, but I see what you're doing, sis.
Yeah.
So there are just a lot of people around her refusing to indulge the illusion anymore. And I think that between that and the encroaching military presence, she feels like she's losing control and
Sure.
she's going to get desperate and angry.
Actually, although Quicksilver didn't say he disapproved, he kind of said he was impressed. She was
No,
like,
no,
"You
that's
don't think
what
this
I'm
is
saying.
wrong?" And he was like, "No, I'm kind
No,
of
he's
impressed."
like, I'm
So,
here for it.
Yeah,
But,
so-
like, he's still saying exactly what's going on. Like, I see that you've kept couples together but kept the kids out of the picture. It was very meta. It was this
Yeah.
whole thing about, like, not working with child actors unless you
Yeah.
have to. You know, so it was like the show poking fun at itself. You save money and effort by not having kids on set. But, oh, I see what you did.
That's a
You kept the
good
kids
point.
upstairs. It's like a cute little inside joke.
You know, Vision had
Called her out.
confronted her last week about, like, how did this all start, and she didn't have an answer. And Quicksilver did the same thing. He was like, "How did you even start all this?" And she once again
She's
was
like, I don't know.
I'm not, yeah,
She
so-
remembered the sensation she was describing was obviously grief, like emptiness, being alone, bottomless, endless nothingness. She's describing grief. So it's like the last thing she remembers is the grief of losing Vision, presumably.
Mm-hmm.
And then she doesn't know what came afterwards. And also, he doesn't remember what the Avengers are, let alone like what his life was.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he woke.
It's literally like
Agnes
his drive
up,
was wiped.
And she was like, "You're an Avenger," and he's like, "What's an Avenger?" And you're like,
Yeah.
"Oh, okay, so, yeah."
He really doesn't remember anything before Westview. He's just aware that, like, he's not supposed to be there.
And we did notice, though, that, like, when he flew up into the sky and looked around, you can't see the bubble from the inside. You can only see the bubble from the outside.
Unless you're right up
Yeah.
against the screen.
Oh, that's true. He did end up seeing it once he
Yeah.
walked up to it. Yeah. And then when he went through the barrier, he started to.
It was like a net that was pulling him back,
Yeah.
or like an electric fence, that was restricting
So it
him.
did.
It was decorporealizing
So
him.
like, unlike we were kind of predicting that because you can send 70s clothes or whatever outside, and then they stay the way they were inside. That maybe that means Vision can now live outside, but it did seem like he could not.
So
sustain
the question for me, he started
his
literally
being
to
outside.
come to pieces, and so I don't know.
No, I don't think it was because he was in pieces before, because he was literally
He was coming
into like molecular. Like,
yeah,
he was,
so I think it's because of
it wasn't just like his head, his arms, and his
the red
legs.
firewall that she put up, like the enhanced bubble that she put up after they sent that missile in last week. Whatever that is, it's too strong.
Yeah.
It's holding him back.
So wait, now Darcy's gone through, so she's gonna be, whether or not she becomes a character in the story now, because everyone who goes through ends up changing into something else, and then being under Wanda's power.
They get assigned a role.
Yeah.
It's what Evan Peters mentioned a few of those things. He was like, I see you tried to keep couples together. You kept the kids out of the picture for their own comfort.
Yeah.
Ha ha ha.
Which is, it's
like
sort of,
you gave everybody jobs similar to what they had in the real world. So she tried to like make everybody as comfortable as possible, but like while accommodating her reality, her illusion.
It's definitely unfortunate though, because Darcy, along with Wu and Monica Rambeau, they were like the three fighting on her side, and on the sword side of things, they were like the only people that were like good guys, so to speak. Because Hayward has everything under control, and he's obviously like kind of a bad guy. So now that Darcy's in the bubble, like that's one man down in terms of. But then again, I guess Hayward lost his entire team to the bubble just then, so it is kind of just like him and.
But
whatever
also,
his
I mean,
motives are.
That's the question, is sort of what his motives are. We got a piece of an answer about that this week, which is that he was tracking the decay signature of Vibranium, meaning he was
After Vision, that's his primary.
looking for Vision. He wasn't actually after Wanda in the first place. He's after Vision. They want their weapon back.
Yeah.
So when we saw her stealing the body, he was in pieces. They were doing something to him. And we know that Vision had requested not to be put back together or brought back to life because he didn't want to be used as a weapon. So here we have presumably Sword, or somebody who works within Sword, although we don't know that for sure. Somebody was actually trying to do exactly the thing he asked not to have happen. They were trying to use him as a weapon, and now they want their weapon back.
Yeah,
and
because
so
if you
it's a
remember when
question-
Hayward and when Monica first woke up from the snap, and she first came and he thought he was a good guy at first, he was mentioning all the things that Sword is doing, and they were like AI. Sentient weapons. Yeah,
he's the ultimate sentient weapon, right? Or he can be. He has the potential to be. And the question is, you know how we had like Hydra within S.H.I.E.L.D. In the course of the Avengers cycle and Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Is there somebody bad working within Sword, or is it actually Sword that's trying to weaponize him? Like, do you have, I don't know, Essex Corp was mentioned multiple times in the X-Men. It's Mr. Sinister. It's a bad guy from the comics. That's something that came up in the course of like Deadpool and the New Mutants as like a big bad that they were fighting. Again, there's so many possibilities right now. If you think it could be like somebody from the Fantastic Four world, it could be.
She did mention
Mephisto.
that she was going. Monica said she's going to see her guy on the other side of the ridge. The
potentially Reed Richards. He's an aerospace engineer. And she said he had an aerospace engineer.
Whether or not they pull in, like I said, Yoan Gruffudd to do that.
Or Miles Teller, who is in like that other one that happened, or if it's just somebody completely new, like we don't know. There've been multiple Fantastic Four movies, only one of which included Chris Evans.
Yeah.
So.
But Fantastic Four is another one of those. They're gonna have to introduce those characters at some time, because those are all Marvel characters, and it's not just X-Men we're doing. It's Marvel in general. I'm so excited for that. I don't care how they bring those characters in, because
I have to say, I really hope. I mean, there's no way to know right now, but I actually really hope that they use this idea of the multiverse sparingly, because to me, sort of the amazing genius of the MCU has been not just sort of the incredible production design and the cool special effects, which we're there for it. I love it. But the continuity is mind-blowing. The way they have maintained, like, not only continuity, but content sharing between what is like 23 films and now 3 television shows that were, because Agent Carter and Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. had direct tie-ins to the MCU as well. It's mind-blowing, and I mean, the X-Men famously has no continuity whatsoever. And it's very faithful to the comics in that respect. Like in the comics, you can have multiple versions of the same character that exist concurrently in different universes, in different timelines, in different time periods. Anything is possible in the comics. And so in that sense, like the X-Men movies were actually very faithful to the source material, but it's also really confusing when you're watching the same actors play the same characters over the space of 40 years and like nobody ages and then a different actor is playing them, and it was so confusing at times. And I really hope that this new aspect of like the multiverse doesn't become an excuse to just be like, oh, no continuity, haha, multiverse, no problem. You know, I hope that they actually like stick to their guns and try to make sense of what's happening. Try to make, you know, sci-fi scientific sense of what's going on.
So wait, a few more important things that happened. Children finally showed up in this episode, which was they were missing. Even Vision pointed out, where are all the children?
Week.
So Wanda made an adjustment. Now there are children, and they're all trick or treating. That's big. And also, Tommy and Billy discovered their powers in this episode.
That's a huge deal.
So Tommy has Quicksilver super speed, and
Billy
is that
has
right?
like
And Billy
some kind
has
of
the Wanda
psychic powers or magic powers or something of that.
I think that's
nature.
essentially what it is, because Vision has super speed too. You know, it's not just Quicksilver, right?
Well, there's Speed and Wiccan in the comics, right? So one of them is literally Speedy, and one of them
Thomas
is Witchy.
Speed
and the other one's Witchy.
Yeah.
Speedy and Witchy. So that's potentially
because when
a big
Vision
deal.
was in trouble, Wanda wasn't able to sense that. Billy had to do it for her. He was the one that sensed it.
This is something super creepy that happened this week, where out by the edge of the town, there are all those people.
Oh yeah, just like frozen, not doing anything.
And is that because like you know, her energy diminishes as you get further out? Like they're literally.
She did
props.
have to literally expand her bubble, and in order to do that, she had to go into like full witch mode, like red eyes and like.
So that's my impression.
The
is
rare
that like
form Wanda.
the illusion gets less convincing as you go outwards because the energy dissipates. Like her energy is strongest at the center of the town.
That's also important though, is because Agnes, you know, up until this point has been like, oh, she's kind of an outlier. She's not necessarily like everyone else. She could be her own witch. She could be Agatha Harkness, but you know, at the same time. Vision woke her up the same way he woke the guy in his office up. Norm, was it, right? And she was like, are you here to save us? Like,
You're
there's
an
no
Avenger.
escape. So it does seem like whether or not she's an outlier, she is still totally under Wanda's control, like, and that she's, you know, afraid for her own.
She's acknowledged that a couple times. There was that scene when she and Herb were at the wall and they were whispering or gossiping, and Vision was like, what's up? And then there was that weird moment last week where she was like, what do you want, director lady? Should I take that back to the top of the scene? You know, so she's definitely like a little timorous, a little fearful of Wanda's power. But we also know that when they were gathering info about who all from the real world was stuck in the town, there was no driver's license, remember?
Yep.
So they had a photo of her from like inside 1950s land, but there was no ID.
Yeah.
Which to me again indicates that she could be this powerful witch. She could be somebody else, whether she knows it at this point or not. I think I'm a little actually surprised by how many characters seem very confused about what's going on. So we knew that Vision didn't remember his life before Westview. And now Wanda, we know, doesn't remember how this all started either. Though it seems like the last thing she remembers is grief.
She also saw Pietro dead, but in Evan Peters' body.
In Evan Peters' body, she's having like a flashback. It's like a PTSD flashback. She's obviously testing him. She was asking him questions. It sounded like she was making something up to see if he would be like, oh yeah, that guy, and get it wrong. But
she wanted to see if maybe he was an imposter or something.
Right, like she clearly knows something's up with him.
I'm still not convinced that he isn't, though. They have a little brother-sister moment there, but that doesn't necessarily mean he's not.
Could he be somebody else? Like, is that Mephisto in disguise?
Still possible, yeah.
Everything is possible.
Yeah.
And then he himself was like, yeah, I don't really know what happened. I was in the street, and then I heard you calling me, and I knew you needed me.
That did seem convincing.
But at the same time, so many details from their lives are different in their two timelines. Like, his name was Peter, not Pietro. And he had a sister, but not like a witch sister, just like a little sister. And his father, he knows, in the X-Men movies, he found out that his father was Magneto. Whereas as far as she's concerned, her parents were still killed by
that's when he
a
mentioned
Stark bomb
Mom and Dad
in
would like
Sokovia.
it here, and you were like, Mom and
Yeah,
Dad,
who's
who are we talking
Mom
about?
and who's Dad
Are we talking about Magneto here?
Right.
Ian McKellen?
Or Fassbender, who was like in Evan Peters' timeline.
Like you said, you don't want them to just have a cop-out where they can just be like, oh, multiverse,
anything is possible,
want.
right.
But at the same time, like, yes, please, give it to us.
Like, give us a little bit. Just a little bit for like, as a treat.
Yeah.
You know?
It's like, I do have an appetite for some of that. For sure.
Well, and I mean, that's the thing, is it's really exciting. I said this before, but I'll reiterate. It's really exciting to see who might be appearing from other universes that we're already aware of, other films that we may have seen, X-Men,
sure.
Fantastic Four, whatever. But I'm also ready to meet some really cool new characters.
Sure.
I mean,
well, you know what? You can still get new characters, essentially, in terms of, like, because they're new to the MCU. Like, we are convinced that her aerospace engineer is going to be Reed Richards.
It makes sense.
Whether
like,
or not they
just
bring
makes
it younger fud or not, who knows? But Doctor Doom, I don't know how much you know
Victor
about
Von
him,
Doom.
is actually, like, pretty much like the lead villain in the MCU in the comics.
Right,
He's pretty
right.
much like the biggest bad of them all, in a way. He's like the
Well, and that's why I'm like, with the weaponization of Vision.
So we have to meet Doctor Doom
There's
at some
so
point
many
in the
people
MCU.
that could be
It
that
has to
it
happen.
could just be Sword making its own sentient weapon, but there are other possibilities because we know Victor Von Doom's a big bad guy. We know that Essex Corp in the world of like Deadpool and the New Mutants has been experimenting on turning mutants into weapons.
Sure.
Into super soldiers. There are like multiple bad guys that we've already been exposed to within the universes that we know. And then there is also the possibility of like Mephisto, for instance. I'd be actually kind of surprised at this point if he didn't make at least a cursory appearance. And like, who would that be? That would be bringing a huge new character into the MCU, and presumably you'd want like a big name or somebody really awesome to play that part. So is he behind some of this? I mean, it could be that there are multiple bad dudes. There could be like the government bad dude and then like the magic bad dude, and they could all be doing evil at the same time.
Yeah. To me, one reason all this fits is like the commercial this week was the like the claymation animated Yo
shark.
Magic or whatever.
I want a
It
Yo
was, like,
Magic,
the
y'all.
90s like kids yogurt commercial. It was perfect. But also like it's playing up the this is like magic is the main thing that's going on here with Wanda, and characters like Mephisto and Doctor Doom are in that realm of magic and sorcery and literally hell, going to hell, and like these things that don't necessarily seem very real world MCU-ish, but like we're gonna start seeing more of that stuff because the magic is what's really important here.
And yet again, you know, the fact that like all of their Halloween costumes were the costumes that those characters wear in the comics.
Loved it. Yeah.
It's very cute. Again, it's an inside joke. It's very meta. It works in the context of the episode, but I think that's also sort of implicitly another nod to, we're going to give you something closer to the comics. We're going to give you a bit more of like these characters the way they were in the comics as opposed to the way we've known them in the movies up until now.
Yeah.
So it's just another little hint that we're about to see some more of that like comic book X-Men Scarlet Witch world coming into our world, which is so exciting. Like, I am 100% here for that.
Definitely.
Yeah.
I'm so excited. Monica Rambeau and Wu are now presumably on their way to go meet, we're hoping, Reed Richards or somebody like that, who's going to give them a vehicle that they can then go
use
inside.
to penetrate the
or give them some kind of technology.
Well, and that's the other thing, that like Monica Rambeau's cell structure is apparently breaking down and metamorphosing from having gone through that barrier twice, and now it's a super barrier. It's a big red firewall now. So what's going to happen? To her, is she going to acquire superpowers? Is that like, an extreme form of radiation that she's being exposed to? Or
And I had actually pointed out that like that supposedly is what happened to the Fantastic Four, something very similar. Their molecular,
right, exactly.
All their DNA and whatever got rewritten because of having an energy field go through them or whatever. So
that's what happens to a lot of Marvel
Spectrum.
superheroes.
That's her superhero name in the comic books.
Okay.
Monica Rambeau is Spectrum.
So maybe we're about to see
and
her.
I believe that she definitely intertwines with the Fantastic Four stuff a lot. So that's gonna.
That makes sense.
Hey,
it's all coming together.
Hell yes.
Yeah,
yes.
man.
All right,
this is
dude.
great.
This is exciting. This was an awesome episode. We're definitely looking forward to next week. Please let us know what you guys thought in the comments below. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and we'll see you next week. Bye.
See you guys.